Are you ready to be inspired? Raise your hand. Tonight, I'm counting down my top 5 best picks for teacher-inspired movies based off of real stories only, real stuff. Guys, I'm telling you, these films, they're gonna challenge you, they're gonna move you, they're gonna like yank tears out your eyes, but more importantly, they're gonna challenge you to be a better teacher, a better version of yourself. Shout out to Ralph Smart. So, grab some popcorn. I didn't already started without y'all. A drink. I'm not gonna ask. I'm not gonna ask what's inside. You just keep it to yourself. And some tissue, and be prepared to have your mind blown. And for all my book nerds out there, close your books and come watch some movies as we start the countdown. Close the book, babies. Close the books. I'm a book nerd too. That's why I have the shirt. You think we can get continuing education credits for this? It's like teacher professional development stuff, right? Okay, guys, so I'm back. So I got my pillow, my hair, I got my headscarf, and I got my snacks, my food, and everything, and I got y'all. Okay, guys, I really watched a lot of movies the last 2 weeks. Like, literally, I watched 20. Like, this is my list, but I don't want you to see it and cheat. Now, listen, this is my list. It's not your list. For this list, there are going to be some obvious exclusions because the movies that are not on this list are very popular, like #1 movies, but they're not based on a true story. Now, I'm going to have another series of top 5s, but today is just movies that are based off of real events and real teachers, okay? Why not start with people who were actually teachers? Okay, so how I made my list, it was based off of a couple of things. The criteria. If the movie had to be based off of real events or a true story or off of a teacher, it had to be real. It had to have happened in real life. That was the #1 and major criteria. Number 2, if I quoted at least one thing out of that movie, they went on the list. Number 3, if I was taking notes throughout the movie, it's on the list. That was 3. And if I was just laughing, crying, if I was just all in my feelings some kind of way, then you were on the list. Number 6, Remember the Titans with oh so delicious Denzel Washington. Now, Denzel plays a football coach, so he's not a teacher, but he is a teacher because a coach is a teacher. Now, this film is based on the true story of African-American coach Herman Boone, portrayed by Denzel Washington. In 1971, the local school board was forced to integrate an all-black school with an all-white school in Alexandria, Virginia, putting the very foundation of football's great tradition to the test. Now, I'm from the football capital of the world, Texas, Texas. Plus, I was born in Virginia, so this film really resonated with me. Now, you will see how these players and coaches go through all these emotions of mistrust, anger, resentment, to acceptance, respect, and friendship. There are lots of cute and funny scenes. My favorite quote is, "Attitude reflects leadership, Captain." It's also one of my favorite scenes, too. Now, why I love this film? It shows that true friendship and working together can overcome great adversities. Here is a picture of the late Herman Boone. Okay, number 5, Stand and Deliver. Okay, this is about an East LA inner city high school math teacher named Jaime Escalante who uses unconventional teaching methods to help every student, from the unmotivated, the gang member, the loser, to a couple of bright students, to help them pass the rigorous advanced placement exam, also known as the AP exam, in calculus for college credit. You know, it's not cool to be smart, so some of these students have to kind of fake it and code switch. Now, the shenanigans that are pulled on these good students and this good man is ridiculous, and this is going to make you scream at the TV and throw a shoe. But all's well that ends well. Here is a picture of the late Jaime Escalante. And number 4, the great debaters. Denzel Washington is back again, y'all. This is the true story of Texas college professor Melvin B. Tolson, who in 1935 inspired his students at an all-black college to form the school's first debate team, which went on to challenge Harvard in the national championship. Why I love this movie? It's the classic David and Goliath, and persevering through that mindset that you're going to fight against this mighty enemy, and what you do to prepare for that and to overcome that. Here is a picture of the late Melvin B. Tolson. Number 3, Lean on Me, with Morgan Freeman as Joe Clark. This film is loosely based on the story of Joe Louis Clark, a real-life inner-city high school principal in Paterson, New Jersey, whose school is at risk of being taken over by the New Jersey state government unless students improve their test scores. Y'all, this movie is so funny, and it's got an amazing soundtrack to it. Now, Joe Clark was known for carrying a megaphone and a Louisville slugger, but his love and dedication to his students and his staff were undeniable. I have 2 favorite quotes. The first one, "They used to call me Crazy Joe. Well, now they can call me Batman." And my second one, the serious one, "We sink, we swim, we rise, we fall. We meet our fate together." The real Joe Louis Clark. Number 2, Freedom Writers, starring Hilary Swank. The story of a young teacher named Erin Gruwell, played by Hilary, inspires her class of at-risk students to learn tolerance, apply themselves, and pursue education by writing in their journals. This film is based off of Erin's book titled How a Teacher and 150 Teens Use Writing to Change Themselves and the World. Now, in a racially divided Long Beach, California school, right after the Los Angeles riots, Erin fights the school administration and teachers to get her students to read, just to read, books relating to the students' lives, their hopes, their dreams, and their struggles, and to journal these experiences and feelings. Erin uses the Holocaust as a catalyst for this change. My takeaway, why I love this film, it is take your life, pain, and sorrow and transmute it. My favorite quote, pick up a pen and be a catalyst for change. That's right, Erin. This is the real Erin, who's still alive, and her Freedom Writer's Diary book. Okay, we're at number 1. And finally, the number 1 movie on my top 6 teacher-inspired movies based on true events only is the Marva Collins story. When his royal badness, Prince, features you in one of his most famous videos, you know you are a gold mine of a teacher. And the video is The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, and Marva Collins is in that video. The Marva Collins story, played by the great Cicely Tyson, is a Chicago teacher who gets tired of the shenanigans by the school administration and other teachers, and she's sick of the imposed restrictions on her methods, her teaching methods, by this failing public school system. So she decides to leave it all behind and go out on her own and start her own school. Now look closely, because in the beginning, Marva was doing a little bit of homeschooling, that all-in-one homeschool house, that co-op looking kind of situation. She refuses funding. She scoffs at the testing and the accreditation, and with the loving help of her very supportive husband, played by Morgan Freeman, Marva is able to help these children who are pegged as learning disabled. She's able to help them rise to their full potential, speaking Shakespeare, quoting Chaucer, writing weekly themes. Marva was a very hands-on teacher. Can't do that nowadays. She never had a desk in her room, and she loved on her students endlessly. Miss Collins was the founder of West Side Preparatory School in Chicago. It was a low-cost private school. It was pre-K through 8th grade. She was so successful at teaching these impoverished African American students that the public system had deemed learning disabled. Her methods gained national notoriety in the 1970s and the 80s. And in 1983, then President-elect Ronald Reagan considered her a candidate for Secretary of Education. She turned that down. She was also featured in a segment of CBS's 60 Minutes because nobody could believe the results that she was getting from her students. And then in 2004, she received a National Humanities Medal for her contributions in teaching and efforts in school reform. If y'all don't get this book, The Marva Collins Way, y'all better ask somebody. This is the late, great Marva Collins. Two of my favorite quotes: there is a brilliant child locked inside every student, and if you can't make mistakes, you can't make anything. Even Prince knew the value that Marva Collins gave to her students and to the world. And Prince don't just like anybody. Oh, I'm exhausted. Y'all, do y'all like this list? Do y'all like this list? This is a bomb list. I went through so many teacher films, and most of them were all fiction. But those films that I just listed, those are real films about real teachers. And that's what I wanted y'all to see, that you could do something like this. So pick what. I would start with Marva, guys. The Marva Collins story. The Marva Collins story. Shout out to Erin for recommending this movie to me. Girl, I love you. I watched this movie. So far, I've watched this movie 3 times in 2 weeks, or maybe 3 weeks. I have. Let me tell you. Let me tell you why this movie is number 1. Hold on, y'all. Let me put my phone up on the stand. Let me tell you why this movie is number 1. Now, for those of you thinking about other movies that are very famous, like Good Will Hunting, Dead Poet Society, things like that, those movies are not based on a true story. I will have a review for those movies at another date. But let me tell you, number 1, Marva Collins, the true story. I took so many notes. I took so many notes on this movie. I was so moved by this movie, guys. I went and got both her books. Guess what I'm going to be doing for the next couple of weeks? This movie has changed me as an educator. I'm not lying. I'm 100% analog about that. I hope you guys are having as much fun as I am. These are movies you can binge watch on. Please do. Take a break from the mind-numbing stuff and deposit some good stuff inside of you, okay? Deposit. Great movies, great inspiration. The opening scene of the movie, guys, just tells you everything you need to know. Everything you need to know. When you see the teachers' classrooms at the beginning of school, and then you see Marva's classroom, like the first probably 15 minutes of the day in the morning, it's going to speak volumes. It's going to speak volumes. Well, the movie came out in 1981, but I think, because the cars are really, really old looking, it looks like the movie takes place in the late 70s. But that's basically the time frame. When you see what this woman does in the classroom, how she motivates, what she does, how she interacts with each child, she touches them, she encourages them. It's just amazing. There are a lot of little spin-off interviews, like they talk to the students like 20 years later to see how they're doing. They talk to Marva. there's just so much information out there. I can't believe I didn't know about it, because when I started looking, I started seeing the information. You get to see how the public school system fails, and you get to see the inner workings behind why it's failing and the egos that are involved that help to make the public school system fail. But what I love is how Marva deeply loves her community. She deeply loves her students, and she deeply loves the ideal that everybody can learn. She takes the worst of children. She takes the learning disabled. She takes the unmotivated. She takes all of those students and she turns them into rock stars. And when the students do their test, and they all do their testing. Now remember, this is a mixed, remember, you haven't seen it yet. Her schoolroom is a mixed age schoolroom. So she has kids from like 6 or 7 years old up to high school, and they're all testing. So just when you see how that goes down, it's very interesting. It really makes the movie. This was actually a Hallmark movie, and it won, or at least it was nominated for a Primetime Emmy. But to see a strong Black family unit, the husband is so supportive. Oh my gosh. If everyone could have a husband like the one Morgan Freeman plays, the love between these two is phenomenal. So there's a lot of positivity in this movie. I wrote down a lot of notes, a lot of things I'm going to be incorporating into my homeschool, and I'm going to make of course a video about that. So that's I know this video is really long. I just wanted to, there's so much I want to say about Marva. Determination, hope, and love. It's a whole lot of love. And Marva really taught those babies to believe in themselves, really believe in themselves. And I think this is the perfect film to watch when you start to doubt yourself as a teacher. You need to watch that. If you have the love and you put in the time, you will not fail your children. You will not fail your babies. When you see how Marva took children who couldn't even read, and in months, they're reading Chaucer, Henry David Thoreau, they're reading The Merchant of Venice, they're reading Shakespeare, and they're reading high school and college level works, literary works, with ease. They're quoting. They do a lot of memory work, I'm bringing that back into my homeschool. There's a lot of memory work. There's a lot of critical thinking. And also, she does cross-curricular teaching, which I absolutely love. She does it with the Merchant of Venice. She ties in history, math, reading. She ties all that in. And she does it with 6-year-olds all the way up to high schoolers. That's some badass teaching. That's some fire teaching. So you gotta watch this film. Why I love it, it will encourage you as an educator. It will make you get off your behind and do something. And it will make you get down to the bare bones of teaching. Forget of all the little fancy curriculum and, anchor charts and approaches and things like that. It's love, being concerned with the needs of your child, and doing whatever it takes to meet those needs of the child, and just being their cheerleader, being their advocate. Bare bones. So I hope you enjoyed my list, my top 6 list. These are all movies that are based on real people. That's why I started off this series. I want you to see that this is something that happened in real life. This is something that you can do. And when you're feeling low and down, you need to pick one of these movies just to watch or to have on standby to big you up when you're feeling down and depressed. So I know I'm rambling. Please get these. If anything, get this book. This is her first book, The Marva Collins Way. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe I had never even heard of this woman in Chicago. and I had never heard of this movie. So I'm spreading this word to everybody. Watch this film. It will impact your life, especially when you see, oh my gosh, toward the end of the movie is when you're gonna lose your mind. When you see what she did with those kids, oh my gosh, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I can do this. I don't need all this extra stuff to teach. Just the basics. And to close, the one theme I noticed out of the 20 movies I watched, they didn't have anchor charts on the walls, nice little bulletin boards, and posters and manipulatives. Are we being real? Can we just be real? In those classrooms where those children were either failing or unmotivated or unteachable, those teachers came in with just them. They didn't come in with, you know, a teacher binder with all kinds of fancy lesson plans and all of that. When you look at some of these films like Good Will Hunting, Dead Poet Society, Mr. Holland's Opus, when you look at these movies, the teachers just teach. You know, sometimes all this other stuff that we have too much stuff and it gets in the way of teaching. We don't need all of that. Bring your love for your child. Bring curiosity. Bring an open heart and your patience and a good book. And start your journey. So I hope you found some value in that. One thing to note, if you're concerned about if any of these films are appropriate for your children, I recommend going to commonsensemedia.org. That's a wonderful site to get information. It's information for parents to make a decision about an app, a movie, a program, a software program, and so much more. It's a really great, I'll have a link down below. It's a really great site to get information. There'll be parent reviews on things like that, so you can make an informed decision about whether a book, a movie, an app, or whatever is appropriate for your child. So I think that is it. I'm going to get out of here. Now, guys, I'm not a reviewer. You know, I might have left some things out. I at least just wanted you to know that there are teacher-based films that are based in reality that affected me in some kind of way. And I know that I'm a better person for watching these films, and I just wanted to share that with you. So I'm no Roger Ebert or Peter Travers, whatever, from Rolling Stones, but I am just a mom and a homeschooler. And when something moves me, I just want to share the love and the abundance with everybody else. So if you want to add to the list, definitely add down below. Now, my next series is just going to be on very motivational movies, no matter what you are, you know, and all the people's favorites will probably be on that list. So be sure to check that out when I put that up. But don't forget to like and subscribe. Do me a favor, when you come in here, please hit the like and subscribe button while you're here. That really helps me out more than you know, and it helps with all the YouTube algorithms to help push my video out so more people can see and can be helped with this information. So this is Nikki with That Homeschool Life. Thank you for hanging out with me, and if you made it this far, kudos to you. So I'm gonna get out of here, and I will see you guys on the next share. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. It helps to push my video out so more people can see the video, so more people can be helped. So I thank you for that. And that's it. I really hope you guys like this list. I hope there were some surprises on the list too. I just hope you like it. So I'm out of here, guys. Peace out.